Hello, my name is Maria Miller from mathmammoth.com. In this video, I want to teach you how to teach adding unlike fractions. And that topic, I feel, is the most difficult topic of all fraction arithmetic. And so I have devised a way to teach it with what we call scaffolding, where we are helping the students step by step. And then only in the very end, they are presented with just a totally abstract problem without any help. Let's get started. Now, first of all, students need to realize why we cannot just add 1 plus 1 in the top numbers and 3 plus 4 in the bottom numbers, which is a common mistake. If we have 1/3 and 1/4, okay, I colored them like that, and then I colored in the resulting sum fraction. But from that you cannot tell what fraction it is, right? Because these parts are not equal size. You cannot tell that this is, okay, 3/7 or 2/15, or, nothing, right? The solution is here. We take 1/3 and 1/4 and divide both of these into more slices. And the concept here is the equivalent fractions concept. This is divided into 4 more slices and this piece here into 3 more, like this. So 1/3 becomes 4 slices, 4/12. And 1/4 becomes 3/12, divided into more slices. And now we can add, because they are the same kind of parts. 12ths and 12ths can be added to get 7/12. So, initially, we want to give students these kind of problems with a visual model and where they know what kind of parts they're going to get in the end, where the common denominator is already given. For example, it's 1/2 and 1/5. Both are going to be changed using the idea of equivalent fractions. Half will become 5/10. And 1/5 will become 2/10. And then we can add, because they are the same kind of parts. They have the same denominator, in other words. The answer is 7/10. You could also have the same problem so that these are not colored in. I wanted to color them before the video because it takes a while. Here's 2/9 and 2/3 to be added. And this time our common denominator here is 9. So this is not going to change, it's going to be 2/9. It's only this one that will change. Instead of 2/3, we will now have each slice here is going to be divided into 3 new parts, so we get 6/9. And the answer is 8/9. Here, when they are using the visual models, students don't even have to remember how to make the equivalent fractions. But now we need to get into that part. Let's go here. This is now a problem without a visual model. 1/5 plus 3/4. But the common denominator is still given to the students. Common denominator, or CD. 20 is going to be the common denominator. Now they need to remember how did it work with the equivalent fractions. 5 times 4 is 20. There's this times 4 here. So this number also times 4. And here we have 4 times 5. So the 3 also will be multiplied by 5 to get 15. And that way now we can add 4 plus 15 equals 19. And they are 20th parts. And now after these kind of exercises, after they have completed several of these kind, then we can come to the rule for finding the common denominator. And students probably have already noticed something about how they find the common denominator. Here was 5 and 4 and here was 20. 5 times 4 is 20, so they might be suspecting some kind of a rule or shortcut for it. The common denominator has to be a multiple of each of the denominators. For example, 5 and 4. Our common denominator has to be a multiple of 5 and a multiple of 4. Or here, 9 and 3 are the denominators. The common denominator has to be a multiple of 9 and a multiple of 3. And 9 will work because 3 times 3 is 9. 3 goes into 9 evenly and 9 goes into 9 evenly. You can even mention this terminology going evenly into, 5 goes into 20 and 4 goes into 20. So here, let's let students next practice finding the common denominator without the actual adding, just the process of finding the common denominator. And by the way, at this point, I would not worry about finding the least common denominator at all, okay? There's enough to do here in this process of learning how to add unlike fractions. So we can just worry about finding any common denominator and then go into the least common denominator, maybe the next grade level. This is for approximately 5th grade, okay? So our denominators are 7 and 3, and so we need to find a number to which 7 goes evenly and 3 goes evenly, right? So 21 will work. 7 times 3. Now here, 10 has to go evenly into this number, and 15 has to go evenly into this number. 150 will work, 10 times 15. But there is a smaller number, and I think many students will find it that 10 goes evenly to 30, and 15 goes evenly to 30. A much smaller denominator. But if they give you 150, that's not wrong. They can still work the problem using that denominator too. Okay, so after practicing these kind of parts separately over several lessons, then students can arrive into a problem on their own where they have to do all these processes on their own. First thing, what denominator will work? Okay, this was solved already here. So we can write here 21, something over 21, something over 21. Then equivalent fractions. 7 goes to 21 3 times, so this times 3 too. And 3 times 7 is 21, so 1 times 7 here, 7. Lastly, add, we get 13 over 21. There.